Hi, I'm Jackie Topa, and today I'm going to show you how to make this magnetic advent wreath. You can put on your door or on your fridge. We're going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper, and I'm going to use the prints on both sides. So cut a 4 3/4 inch strip off each of the sheets of paper, so it'll be 4 3/4 by 12, and then cut them in half again so that you can score them from each direction. Otherwise you could just do one big long strip if you're doing them all the same. But I want 4 different prints, so I cut mine into 6-inch strips, and I'm going to score at 1 1/16, 2 2/16, 3 3/16, and 4 1/4. And the reason I'm doing the whole strip is it's just easier to do this than to have to do all your little individual pieces. So once you've got that all scored, then take your bone folder and crease your folds. And again, if you do it all at once in a big long strip, it saves you doing all these little individual pieces. And they're all going in the same direction because this is going to be the sides of your box. So once you've got that all pressed, then take your cutter and you're going to cut 1-inch strips. So you're going to get 6 from each of your prints. Now my other print will be going the other way. So that'll give us 24 of our little box sides. So the remainder of the cardstock I cut into 3 strips, and they're each like about 2 3/4 inches wide. So they don't have to be exact as long as they're wide enough to punch. So punch it with your petal card punch. You're going to need 1 from designer series paper of the top of each box and 1 from a coordinating cardstock for the bottom of each box. And the bottom doesn't really show unless you open your box and look inside, but I just use Whisper White. So I had lots of that, and it's easy to punch. So glue your box side together. And then once you're done that, let's work on the lid for our box. The punch scores, the petal card punch it adds score lines as you punch. So you just fold it on the score lines. Cut a little piece of ribbon about 1.5 inches. I cut all my strips at once and I cut them all at an angle. It kind of saves on ribbon because you can have it a little bit longer, and your angled tails actually give you a little extra length. I split the brad with a piercing tool. Just split it enough so you can get the ribbon through there. When you slide the ribbon in, you can you slide it down. You can almost feel it pop into the opening at the bottom of the prongs, and it just sort of gathers there nicely. And then you poke it in your hole and split the back. If you are worried about that tearing through, it's actually pretty solid in there, but you can always back it with some scrap of cardstock too. So on the bottom, you're going to put some glue on the flaps of the cardstock petal card, and that's going to be the bottom of your box. So then you'll just insert that in there. I like using Tombow for this because you can slide it around a little bit, and you got some play. So that'll fit snugly, but it's not too tight to get it in. And then just set it down and use your bone folder to make sure the sides are pressed up well and that they're sticking. Make sure you got everything square. Now the top you're not going to glue in because you want to be able to open it and fill your boxes, and you can keep filling them from year to year. Make 24 of those. Use your ribbon to pull it back out. Now I made some numbers for mine, so I stamped the numbers and I punched them out with the 1/2 inch circle punch. And I just sponged around the outside with Old Olive. I stamped the number in Old Olive as well, and then I just glued them onto the boxes. So do that with all 24 of your boxes. And then we're going to make a magnetic. You don't have to, but I wanted mine to stick on my fridge. So I cut a 3/4 inch strip. I folded back the adhesive because I find it's hard to peel the adhesive sometimes to get it started. So this way it's going to be easy. So cut a 3/4 inch strip. You'll need 3 strips to get 24, and then cut 3/4 inch squares, and you should get 8 on each strip, so that'll be 24 magnets. Put them in the back of your box, and then we're going to make a bow. So to make your bow, I had two pieces that are 3 inches wide by 16 inches long, and I just folded them over. They overlapped a little bit, and then just down the center run a big fat running stitch, and that's going to help gather your bow. I'm just using black thread because this part's not going to show. So do the same with your other 16-inch strip. Just overlap it a little bit, and again do a big fat running stitch. And I wanted mine to be one on top of the other, so that's why I just kept the same thread in there. But if you wanted it laying the other way, you could just do them separate. And then I usually wind my thread around, and that kind of holds it tight. And there's going to be another piece around the center after to hold everything secure, so it won't really matter. So just do a little knot there. To make a knot, I just make a loop and then stick my thread back through the loop. Oh, I got a thread there, so just trim that off. It's just coming off of my fabric. And then take a 24-inch piece of fabric, cut the ends to a point, and then do the same thing. Just right in the center, do a big fat running stitch, and that'll gather that up. And I wanted it to hang off the bottom of my bow, so again I just kept it going in my thread going in a big long line, and then just knot it a little bit. I'm just going to stitch it to the bottom of my bow here. And again, this is all going to be held together by a big fat piece. So I took a 4-inch by 2-inch scrap that I had, and you just wrap it around everything. Kind of play with your bow a little bit till you get it where you want it, and stitch it up in the back. Now this will show if someone turns your bow over, so use some coordinating thread to stitch that down. And then just play with your bow, and I use some big fat magnets just inside to hang it up. And you can hang up your little boxes. You can use your bow or without. Arrange them however you want. There's a tree, and these ones I did them in the shape of a wreath. This is on my fridge. I liked it better on the black background, but the picture didn't take very well. And I wanted to show you how well these boxes hold. So I tried some with candies, make sure the lid wasn't going to pop open. So I actually got a fair amount in there. Not that you'd want them in reach of a 2-year-old, but at least you know it works. Well, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again.